Welcome to the Morning Nerdy News. I'm your host, Gray Falcon. Sorry about yesterday. Unfortunately, the only real news yesterday was that we got Prime Day and that other places were going on sale. I'm sure all of you already knew that. The sales were popping up all over the place. Some of them good, some of them bad. Most of the tech sales were on old tech. So there wasn't a whole lot there to go running out and chasing. And most of that's kind of just trying to clear out and make room for new inventory because we already know we have the new NVIDIA graphics cards. And we already know the new AMD processors are about to come out. And we already know that we're getting new graphics cards from AMD for an announcement at the end of this month. So it's really just them trying to clear out stock and get ready for the new graphics enhancements that are coming out. So it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of reason to go in and report on things that didn't really apply to most people who are probably watching this. But we're going to go ahead and get on in here and start with some gaming news, starting with the open beta for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So if you've got this on PC, this is NVIDIA Enhanced, where you'll be able to go in and start having access to this game tomorrow for the beta. So you'll be able to go in, enjoy some PvP, check it out. This is also going to be available on consoles. I don't know, I can't remember if this is the first week that it is available on all of them or if this first weekend is exclusive to PlayStation, but I believe this is the first weekend event that is available to all players coming up here. And in other online news, Disney reorganizes business with focus on streaming. So much of Disney's business has been in the movie theater, and with everything that's going on, they keep having to push back films, push back all these things, because as Mulan showed, it just is kind of a problem to try and put out a movie right now for most people. They didn't earn enough money back on that, especially with doing that on Disney Plus. So they've pushed back their theatrical things, and now they want to come in and focus more on the streaming side of it. They want to put a lot more time and effort into actually getting content out there to people, getting subscribers signed up. And this is good in two ways. It's good for the viewer because we have felt a huge drought in actual content. My wife absolutely loves Disney. So we went up and we picked up the 3-year option that gave us a free year if you ordered it up front. And so far, we've pretty much only watched The Mandalorian on it. We watched a movie or two here and there, but for the most part, it really just has not been worth it for all this time. And we have all these things that are supposed to be coming out, all these new TV shows that we've all been looking forward to, and they haven't been coming out yet either. So we're going to start seeing those come out here at the end of this month. So that's exciting that we're finally getting some new content. But unfortunately, this drought has been driving everyone crazy, and it's nice to see that they are going to refocus and put more energy into this. And then in regards to other refocusing, Xbox 360 owners get free cloud save transfers to Xbox Series X and Series S. So over on Engadget, they have this report coming out. And basically what's going on is if you already are a live member, you're already able to make these cloud save transfers over to a new account. But they have decided that if you don't have live, we're going to go ahead and allow these transfers to be moved up from the 360 so everyone's kind of on an even playing field. So someone who may have skipped the Xbox One generation could potentially have all their game saves and things from the 360, since all of that stuff is still going to be backwards compatible. So this is just another one of those good consumer-friendly moves that is being made by Microsoft. But their competitor, on the other hand, is just now starting to catch up on some things, with the PlayStation 4 system software update 8.0 launching today. And this is supposed to be a pretty big content update, but I'll tell you what, some of these features just feel like things that should have already been there. Now, they have updates to party and messages. They have new avatars, mute all mics from quick menu. This is the thing that really should have been there already. Why it took them so long at the end of a generation to finally put in something that allows you to quick mute everybody, I don't know. I get that on some microphones, you can just, push the button or tap something and it shuts off really quick, but not all mics have that. I know people that use their PlayStation camera as their mic because they don't have any other mic. So for them, they don't have a quick button push. They actually have to go in and mute everyone really quickly. So it's kind of a give and take there. It's one of those, I can kind of understand the reasoning for it taking so long, but at the same time, it seems like such a simple feature and simple fix that it should have been there all along. And they've simplified and added more flexible parental controls. Enhanced two-step verification has been added. This is something that I'm surprised took a while, simply because Sony has had breaches in the past, and I would have thought that this would have been foremost on their mind to have something like this available. Microsoft has this available. I don't know if it's available on the Xbox, but I do know through a Microsoft account it is available. Removal of event creation and private community creation. Updates to Remote Play app on mobile and PC. The existing PS4 Remote Play app on mobile, Windows, PC, and Mac will change its names to PS Remote Play, and the option to connect to PS5 will be added. You'll need this to sign into the PSN from your PS5 to be able to access this. So this is really just a next gen getting ready for type of thing. It's not really intended for this gen type of update for making services better or making any type of improvements for existing setups. And still no word on whether or not this will work with Vita. So we'll find out about that. I find that Remote Play on my Vita is the primary thing that I use it for. So I get most people don't have Vitas. I'm kind of in a different boat there, but I really enjoyed having that and having that Remote Play feature. Moving on with some other PlayStation news, Burger King is giving away 1,000 PS5s. Here's how to enter. So over on GameSpot, they're covering this, and they had this little commercial spot where it shows the King looking inside a massively oversized bag, and he gets this blue PS glow coming up out of it, and he just keeps looking down and up and acting like, is anybody supposed to know about this? And then walking out with the bag like he's not supposed to have it. So, the King stealing from himself. Then they go into the details about how the actual system can be won. So what you have to do is you have to go and spend $5 or more at Burger King, and you'll get a token. And then you go over to Burger King's website, turning your token, and that gives you a chance to win one of the PlayStation 5s or other prizes that are available through this. Now, this officially begins tomorrow, so October 15th, and will end on November 22nd, so after the systems have launched by that point by 10 days. So if you're just planning on buying one and you don't get lucky with this, but for some reason they run out, this at least gives you a chance to still win one for a few days after the release date. Hopefully we're not going to actually see a supply shortage of these things, given that PlayStation has promised that there are going to be more units available than the PS4. And I don't really recall the PlayStation 4 being difficult to acquire. I believe in that first week it might have been, but after that, supply kept coming in pretty regularly, and hopefully nothing interrupts that supply chain and allows things to continue pretty smoothly like it did last time. And lastly, in PlayStation news, PlayStation 5 configuration, clocks, and hardware shape were decided 2 years ago. Fan is the only reason for the console's size. So this is coming over on Wccftech, and they have some quotes down in here, but effectively what they're talking about is that the design was confirmed 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they had it pretty much kind of started and working its way to set in stone, and they had the big giant fan for it at the top, and they wanted the liquid metal to help keep it cool. So everything was focused on making sure the system did not have that jet engine sound that it has right now on the PS4. And if I'm being honest, my old fat PS3 had that jet engine sound from time to time too. So this is something that's been plaguing them for a while. So we're going to get a nice little update here that's finally going to make this run quieter. Now, hopefully it fits in our console. Hopefully it fits in our entertainment systems, because yeah, it's going to be a huge pain if this thing has to sit on top. But on the plus side, we now know that the side panels are removable from the teardown, And if you haven't watched that, go over, check out that video where I do the PlayStation 5 teardown breakdown, and I talk about all the different things that they have in the system, what is happening with the coolers, how they're going to be helping get all that heat up and out of the system for the most part. But overall, this system is looking really good, and with the removable panels, that means you can slap new panels on the side there and give it a brand new look. Perhaps someone comes up with a slimmer panel. I don't know if that'll be possible, or something that, you know, can tone down the height of it. And the one thing that I would like to see added in there is a mesh over where the fans are, because on PCs you put meshes over where the fan locations are in order to help prevent dust from getting in there, and that dust just collects on that film, or on that filter. So you really need something like that if you want something like this to really be helpful. Now, they have the vacuum holes to try and help suck dust out and things, but I think the actual filter would be the biggest advantage, and then you just have to pop off the side panels, clean off those filters every once in a while and pop them back on. Way simpler than having to really do a teardown if you truly want to try and clean this out. This will help prevent getting to that position with the game system. And lastly, Apple had its event yesterday where they finally announced the new iPhones. So we have the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 mini, and prices are about what you'd expect, over $1,000 for the Pro Max and for the Pro, and then we have $699 and $799 for the mini and the regular iPhone 12 respectively. They have some better colors coming into this than normal. They do have that blue look for the 12 Pro. I don't like it as much as, say, the blue that was on the RX, the iPhone 10 RX, but it's still something more than what they have been giving us, primarily just mostly black and white, and that's great. I like the color changes. As someone who typically uses an Apple phone, that is fun for me. I will not be getting any of these phones. The only real advanced feature is 5G. 5G at this point is still very new and very limited in where it's at, so this isn't a selling point for me. And what would have possibly been a selling point is the 120 hertz screen, and they didn't do that. They figured that 5G was going to be a stronger selling point than the high refresh rate screen. And unfortunately, as a gamer, this kind of makes me go, well, I don't need to update, but if I were going to update, maybe I pick up an Android where I can get those extra gaming performance out of it, and that might be where I end up going if I decide to upgrade at some point in the next year. Unfortunately, I don't think I am. I really enjoy my phone. It's still running well, so it's probably going to get another year or two out of it before I get an upgrade. And by that point, we'll probably finally have that higher refresh rate screen on here, along with an established 5G network. If you have to have bleeding edge on your phone, you know, you can go get this, but even though I love my Apple phone, the reality of it is if you want bleeding edge, you're over on Android, and you're updating your phone every year, because as I've discovered, I have not been able to get an Android phone to properly last over a year without having issues, whether that be text messages not sending, battery life is just turns to disaster, or all kinds of other issues. At the end of the day, I've found iPhone to be more reliable, and that's why I stick with it. I do every once in a while go back to Android, and I really enjoy all the feature sets of it up front, and then I get 6-8 year in, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this isn't working right anymore. I'm sending text messages that are just sitting there for forever. Set text message suddenly sends 30 at a time when I only hit the send button once. It just, so many issues happen with it. So unfortunately, I tend to avoid it. But if you go iPhone 12, you have even more color variety. And again, same scheme. They're aiming at the iPhone RX users like myself, because they have that color gamut that is in here. This is 2 years from when this released, so they're kind of pushing for you to be able to go out and get another phone that has that color variance. Again, the only real advantage to these over what was there before is you are getting the 5G. And for the minor upgrades that are happening elsewhere in the phone, I don't think it's worth running out and picking one of these up. unless you are desperately in need of a phone. But that's going to be it for today. Thanks for hanging out. Remember, if you're watching me on Twitch, click the follow button. If you're over on YouTube, click the subscribe button. Get the updates to when these videos come out. Maybe hit that bell for me. And if you want to hang out when I'm off stream, go over to Twitter. Follow me as The Gray Falcon. So until next time, have a good one.